retrograde?
I think Mercury just got out of retrograde. It'll get you every time.
Okay.
Is this thing on?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final episode of season 1. Woo!
Are you gonna have a little cry today?
Maybe. I might. It's been such a special journey. And a journey it has been. We did not expect it to take off the way that it did. Maybe no, actually, I think like Delulu Adele did think. I'm like, why aren't there more listens? But the global reach is very, very cool that we've gotten. And I'm very proud of us. So you know what? Cheers to us. She's already slurping her drink, so might as well. There we go. Perfect. So this episode is coming out end of January. We're taking a little hiatus. I said it right. Hiatus. I usually say hiatus. It drives Jess up the wall. Hiatus so that I can have a baby.
And I think that people are like, well, why take a hiatus? It's like, well, because Adele does so much work. I'm just the voice here.
Just the talent.
Just honestly, like, and contributing very little except my
throat clearings.
Except for the 50% of the banter. And Adele's like 100% of production and idea and concept. And so she deserves a little break.
Yeah. So we'll be back in the spring. Season 2, we already have like a full list of things that we want to do in season 2. We're going to be bringing more of like the video podcast element, which I'm so excited for because our recording studio, quote unquote, will be finished. And we're going to be having a bunch more guests, I think, from the wedding industry, obviously, and the bridal fashion industry, but I think other guests that pique our interest and we think like would be cool conversations to have about, you know, life in general too.
I think too, I want to be not more controversial, but maybe chat about some things that are sometimes hard to talk about.
Yeah,
I think that's a big part of like, I think that we forget that this is an opportunity to talk about things that don't belong necessarily in the bridal bubble, like the perfectness of the bridal bubble. And there's so much that we work hard on behind the scenes in the bridal world that doesn't fit into the Instagram box. So that's what I love about this. And that's the whole point, is to discuss things that are just a little bit, that don't fit into the beauty of the bridal bubble, but really make it up.
Yeah, exactly. The realness behind it that, like you just said, make it that picture perfect experience, or what you see on the gram or whatever it is. This is our opportunity. The whole point of it was Unveiled. We're lifting the veil. We're going to share our sometimes off the wall opinions. But yeah, it's all in good fun. We obviously adore all of you for listening and are so grateful for you. Jessica, season 2, if you had like a dream guest, who would it be? Ooh. Like, we can go like off the walls, like imagine T Swift.
Okay.
I think I'd just sit in silence. Yeah, it would just be a silent podcast.
Imagine being able to interview Taylor Swift when she decides to get married.
I can't even like, oh.
Would she bring Travis?
I have so many questions for Travis. I would love to interview that.
I think that I would love, well, we've talked a lot about having Sarah Varka on.
So Sarah Varka is the designer behind Varka Bridal, one of our newest bridal lines in the boutique.
Yeah, and I think that was when we met her, she was very refreshing. She's very interesting, and I think that her approach to bridal is very cool, and her experience in fashion is very cool and very down to earth and very like, she's like so successful, and she's like, and she has a different perspective, I think, than a lot of our designers, which I thought was cool. We talked a lot about like inclusivity and like pattern making and stuff, which is I think a thread that we're gonna go through. I kind of want to like, I think that Tal would be really fun to have on the podcast.
Okay. Tal Kadim?
Yeah.
Okay.
I also found her very, very interesting.
Yeah.
She's so successful and like, she's not necessarily cutthroat, but she's just like no nonsense.
Yeah.
And I love that about her. And it's just like, she knows who she is, and she just like.
Okay, hear me out. While you're saying this, my head's like spinning. I feel like it'd be so cool to do like a panel of designers. So like we all ask them like the one question and hear like their different opinions on, if we had like 3 designers to like Oh, yeah.
I think, too, it might be cool. I'm eating these candies.
Oh, yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. It's, what, 10 a.m.? I think we need to go to Australia, and we need
Okay,
Carla
I was talking to Carla
and
about
Craig.
this.
Craig's going to come down from London, and we're going to have, like truth or drink or something.
Oh, boy.
Is what we're going to play with them.
It'll come to me. There's another one. I think that, like, I would love the thread of, or, like, kind of the theme of next season to talk about, like, evolution. So when I think about our designers, like, obviously I'm, like, stuck on designers. We just had a crazy sample sale yesterday. And I think, so my mind is, like, completely tuned to which designers are evolving and which aren't.
Yeah.
And I think that that's such a cool thread of, like, awareness, but also, like internal thought about, like, if you're not working towards evolution in this industry, like, what is your motivator? Like, I think about every designer or every leader of each of our lines is so different. And if I was to rank them in, like, how progressive or how they see the bridal industry, it would be so interesting to, like, it's almost like you could watch the bridal industry evolve through the people we like work with. Yeah. And the people are progressive in different ways, and there's, like, people who are, like, crazy progressive in every element, and then there's people who feel like they've figured out the formula that makes them successful, and they're, like, comfortable. I don't know. It's just, like, such a cool. Yeah. It's a very cool industry because it's, like, it's so small. Yeah. No, for sure. But there's so much to talk about, and then there's so much crossover, and I think that. Yeah. Evolution.
And with the evolution, like, everybody knows, like, fashion, like, just cycles. Yeah. So, like, what was old, like, the 7-year cycle or whatever the number is. Yeah, no. So it's evolution through, like, your business practices, but also through the fashion. And I think that there's, and, like, how people, like, throw weddings, how people host weddings, how people get engaged,
how people, like, do marriage, like, how marriage is viewed, and how it's, like, it's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first guest, T Swift and Trav.
Yes, perfect. Yeah. Let's start huge. Yeah. Monumental.
And then we'll, what do you think she would wear? Do you think she'd go, like, well, obviously she'd have, like, a million gowns.
Thinking about this.
Yeah. She'd have a million gowns. We're getting emotional about this. But, like, ceremony look. What do you think she does?
I think that does she have
her ball gown moment?
It looks like what I wore.
I know. That's what I think, too. Like, I think she does, like,
all over lace,
high neck, long sleeve. Yeah. Like, epic train, like an insane veil.
Mm-hmm. I am Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Something like that. Okay, so for this episode, we're going to have fun because, you know what, that's what the whole point of this is. Let's just throw our opinions around and get a good chuckle. So I went on Reddit and I looked up, like, a bunch of Am I the Asshole for Wedding?
And while Adele was looking these up, she's sitting beside me just cackling. We're all trying to do work in the office and every once in a while she's like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. And they're like, what? And I'm like, wait till the podcast. And then I'd be like, okay, I can't wait till the podcast. This is like so good. So I don't even know where to start. There's a bunch of them here. Okay. So, okay. Am I the asshole for going as the best man's +1 to my sister's wedding? So here's the backstory. My sister got married today. She asked me to be her maid of honor right after she started planning and asked me as a favor to her if I could not bring a date to the wedding because she needed me. This is already a red flag in my eyes. Yeah. I agreed because I was single at the time. During wedding planning, I met best man. So it was the groom's friend from university, and we hit it off, as you do. My sister gave us a very thinly veiled, now you two don't get too close type statements, which made us aware that she didn't like us flirting. So we agreed to not start anything during the wedding to avoid issues. There's too much already. Yeah. So last weekend, the 6 of us, the bride, the groom, me, best man, and the rest of the bridal party went on a joint stag and hen do, so bachelor, bachelorette, which was basically everyone. Yeah. Which was basically everyone but me and the best man drinking, as we don't drink. So we booked 3 hotel rooms for us, yada, yada, yada. 1 for the bride and groom, 1 for the best man and groomsmen, and 1 for the bridesmaids. Bridesmaids then hooked up with the guy in our room, and I ended up in the boys' room. So the best man and I ended up sharing his bed. Nothing happened. However, the following morning, we went up for brunch and the groomsmen joked about me and best man sharing a bed. This was followed by everyone but my sister ribbing us while we told them to shut up. My sister didn't say anything at the time. After the brunch was over, she pulled me aside and accused me of attention seeking and demoted me from maid of honor to guest. Couple days later, best man texts me and asks why I'm no longer maid of honor, as he was worried it was something he did. I tell him what happened. He asks if he can take a date to the wedding now and if I'll be his date. I accepted. I spoke to my sister about 3 times the whole day and only said some variation of congratulations, you look amazing, but she was clearly not happy with me. It was only getting home and turning my phone back on that I saw a bunch of texts from her basically asking why I was there and was I trying to piss her off.
Am I the asshole? No.
Absolutely not.
Like, you're a little bit petty. I'll give you that.
For going?
Yeah.
Wait, so you wouldn't go?
Oh, no, but she demoted you as guest. I thought she, like, just, yeah, no, I would know. You're not petty at all. You're not.
So I guess the bride is now mad that you went as his +1 or whatever.
No, you're not an asshole. She's an asshole. And she's like...
It's also weird that she was like, can you please come to my wedding single? I'm going to need you. Like, pardon?
Yeah, I think that there's
That's weird.
A couple things here that well, there's a lot that I disagree with, but I think one of them is like, I get why they asked not to start anything, because what if they do start something and then they break up and then it's awkward.
For sure.
Right? Like you could be planning something for a long time. They could have a little relationship and then everyone's just like, oh shit, now they broke up and now it's about them. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
That's the one thing that I'd be like, but also like just live your life.
Yeah.
Like if you do break up, don't make it a thing.
Yeah.
I can't protect you from falling in love with someone.
Yeah, it's also just like weird to like have that stipulation before. Like I don't like this is really weird. This girl's like clearly
very
concerned about controlling and like needing.
No, you're definitely not the asshole. I would go
of the attention. Yeah.
Unless she had said like not demoted me from maid of honor to guest, but demoted me and like told me not to come. Yeah. Then obviously I'm not going to come if you tell me not to.
Yeah.
But even though you're my
mad
sister,
that she went as the best man.
Yeah, you can't tell me who to go with.
Okay, so have you ever been in a wedding party and had like a fling with somebody? Like, have you ever no?
I haven't been a bridesmaid that many times.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have been with someone.
Yeah.
I was with
You've always been like dating
Colin,
someone while you're in the Yeah, no, I definitely had a fling with a groomsman like before and then it didn't end well at all.
And then you end up being...
And then we were bridesmaids and groommen and of course we're like paired up and I'm like, oh, here we go. And then we ended up getting back. Yeah. Yep. 100%. Yeah.
I know. I think if I had an opportunity to be in more weddings, probably.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Okay. So you're not the asshole there.
No.
Okay. What about... Oh, this headline. This couple decides to forego catering at their wedding so Minnie and Mickey could make an appearance. And it's sparking a discussion about Disney adults. So I guess the question is, would you be pissed if like you didn't get catering at a wedding?
Like you didn't get to eat?
Yeah, because they spent the money on Minnie and Mickey coming.
Yes. I didn't get to eat?
Have you ever been to a Disney wedding?
No.
Oh, I have.
I'm disturbed by all of this. Like, what? Can it at least be like potluck? Like, can I bring something so everyone can
is it
eat?
like BYOS, bring your own snacks?
Although, okay, sorry to all the Disney adults out there, but it's really freaking weird. But I came upon this thing on TikTok. Have you heard about the Disney hug policy?
Pardon? No.
How any character at Disney isn't supposed to be the first one to let go when a child hugs them.
Oh.
So that, because Walt Disney said, you never know how much someone needs a hug.
Okay, I actually love
that. It's so cute. So there's this TikTok, this girl, obviously this mother is like, I just found out about the Disney hug. And she's like, I found this video of us at Disney last year. And her daughter goes up to, I think it's Belle or Cinderella. Yeah, and she like hugs them and like for so long. And like Belle's talking to other kids and just like hugging this child. And you're not supposed to be the first one to let go because if they need that long hug, they're going to give it to them.
Well, maybe that's why they skipped catering, because they needed a long hug from Mickey and Minnie.
It shouldn't cost that much. Just hug your partner.
Well, I don't have answers for that. I actually no. I want to talk about the Disney wedding that I went to because it was very tasteful.
Okay.
Although the first dance song I was with.
Oh, what is it? Can I guess? Hold on. Can I guess?
Yeah, you can guess.
Is it Taylor Zola's Time?
No. And I remember driving to this wedding and we were all making bets. We're like, put the Disney playlist on. We got to make bets on what this is. And none of us got it right.
Pocahontas?
No. It was that one from Tarzan.
You'll
Be in My Heart.
That's a goodie.
Okay,
Phil Collins.
But while they're dancing, my date at the time, he like leans
But isn't that a mother-son song?
Yeah, but he leans over, he's like, wait, isn't this when like the thing dies like and just like leaves? I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know.
Yeah,
this is
the child's mother
dark.
dies and then the gorilla takes care of him.
Yeah,
it's a mother song. It's not a love song.
Yeah. And I made the cake for that wedding. So if people don't know, like in my past life I made cakes, wedding cakes, and everything was like, it was like chic Disney, like it was hidden Disney. I think that's it, hidden Disney.
So like, be a deep nerd.
Yes, exactly. That was it. Like it was like etched in things and you would like see it and you're like, oh, okay. And like, so the cake was like this beautiful white cake, but then like the pearls were all like put in like a look. So it looked like little Mickeys. Like there was a big pearl and then the two ears.
Is this like, oh no. Okay. I'm getting like, I just don't understand. Like, I guess, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No,
so,
yeah.
you know, obviously they got proposed to at Disney.
Obviously.
Yeah. As you do.
Can you have a Disney wedding without being proposed at Disney?
Yeah. No, you can't. You can't. Okay. Am I the asshole for refusing to go to my best friend's wedding after he asked me to be his best man because he didn't invite my girlfriend to the ceremony? So one of my best friends recently got engaged to his girlfriend of 4 years. They'll be getting married next year, and I was over the moon for them. A few days ago, he asked me to be his best man, and I said yes. But yesterday, official invites were handed out, and my girlfriend was only granted an evening invitation. So I guess don't come to the reception, don't come to the ceremony. They said that they were only allowed 50 people in the ceremony and 100 to the evening, and any additional seats would cost them money. If it were a case of the pair of them having huge pools of family and friends, that they had to make the cut, I wouldn't feel angry, but they both have very small families, and I found out that people they've met online playing video games have been invited to the day, and not only that, but their partners have also been invited. It just feels like a bit of a slap in the face to the best man not being allowed one space. The bride has often said that she doesn't like new people in her life. And my girlfriend is very rarely been invited to social events at their house. Though when she first started seeing my friend, I made sure she was invited to everything from day one. I've been with my girlfriend for 6 months, so not a long time.
I was going to ask.
And by the time of the wedding comes around, it'll be pushing 2 years, if everything works out. Anyways, I ended up telling my friend that not only would I be pulling out of being his best man, but that I wouldn't be going to the wedding, and it's safe to say he was not pleased. Tried to explain its rationale, and there's not been a lot of space for her, but I stuck to my guns for my girl. Am I the asshole?
It's tough.
I kind of think you are.
Yeah, 6 months
also,
is not a long
time.
time.
Ceremony, get over it.
Yeah, I don't know. 6 months isn't a long time. I can see where they're coming from. But again, if you've met these people on the internet, they sound like gamers. Maybe that's just more priority. It is kind of an insult, but like, what's the friendship worth? Like,
yeah,
maybe just get over it. And she comes to the evening, unless like he said, it seems like a constant thing. It seems like they just don't like her.
Yeah,
and then I guess you're kind of making a stand, being like, but.
Yeah, I guess if they're just purposely then
discluding
you're not
her,
being the asshole.
Yeah. But I think
that's like, oh man. Okay, so let's just do the math here.
Okay, but so hold on. One thing too, like he's being invited at like it's 6 months right now, and the wedding's in 2 years, and the invites are already out. Okay,
so yeah, so I guess that's what I was trying to think of the math. So they've been together for 6 months. The invites just came out, and by the time the wedding happens, it'll be 2 years. So the invites came out a year and a half. Yeah, maybe it was to save the date. Yeah.
Well, I think that I would just...
A lot can change.
Yeah, I would just ask him, if we were closer to the wedding, I would ask him to reconsider.
Yeah, so just like accept it for now and then reconsider. And like, okay, if you were the girl, and let's just maybe negate the whole like, I don't know, like, is it weird that you're not invited to the ceremony but you're invited to the reception? Because like I personally don't think that that's weird.
No, I think but it depends on your scenario. Yeah. I don't find that weird either. I think that's our generation of like, I would just want to be there. But like, if you got married and you're like, hey, just come to the evening part, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, not happening.
But that's also that we get all these things all the time being like, am I the asshole? But like, maybe it's a disconnect of you think you're better friends than you are, which is so like, that's hard to swallow.
Yeah.
And you're like, the girls that are just like, I thought I was going to be maid of honor. It's just like, you can't ever think that.
No.
You can't be like, I should be in that. It's like, everyone gets to make their own decisions. And like, I don't know. That's so.
You never know what like dynamics are going on when you're picking a bridal party. Because if
Lord knows
there are dynamics coming up the hoo-ha. Okay, this one came up and it's actually a little topical. Am I the asshole for wearing my wedding dress to someone else's wedding? That's it. Just a question. I say yes.
For wearing a wedding dress to, okay, so I agree. Definitely yes. But in this case, this girl's wedding dress was black. So I don't really care.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that it depends.
But if it was you and I wore a black wedding dress and we have a very similar group of friends, not a huge, but I'd say there's like a third overlap of us. And everyone went to my wedding, or like a third of the people went to my wedding, like recently, like we got married within a year of each other. Yeah. It's like, and then I wore it to yours. People are going to know that's the wedding dress, and that's an asshole regardless of the color.
Okay, yeah. This reminds me of, we did a Instagram, like, tell us the tea, like, one time, and somebody wrote in, and I can't remember all the details of the story, but the girl has basically said that her mother-in-law wore her wedding dress to her wedding.
Like her own wedding dress to like her daughter's wedding.
To her daughter-in-law's wedding.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What are you wearing? Yeah. It's probably so out of date too.
Yeah. It's not even like, I wouldn't be offended if somebody wore white to my wedding. And like, I honestly wouldn't, but I don't know if that's because I didn't wear white.
Yeah.
Maybe if I wore white, I would be more.
But I feel like I think
it's more awkward for the person wearing white.
Yeah, I think that I'm okay. I agree. Wouldn't be upset if people wore white to my wedding, but I think it's the connotation that a boomer might come up to that person and be like, and make them feel uncomfortable because it's a thing, or like being or if she wore like a full length white dress, you might be like, this is kind of weird for like the connotation of wearing white, but it doesn't particularly piss me off. Yeah. It's just like a general faux pas.
I feel like that's going to be like a thing that fades away.
Yeah, in the next generation. we're definitely
on the cusp of it. For sure.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter to us brides, but in general, it's like a social faux pas. So it's still like very like, it's attention grabbing.
Yeah. But there's like other things with other colors. Like you're not supposed to wear red.
Oh yeah, because that means you slept with the groom.
Yeah. And then blue is something. I can't remember what blue is. So hear me out. Okay. I bought a wedding dress for my rehearsal. Sarah Seven Florence, one of the best dresses she ever created.
Best.
And I tried to sell it secondhand and I got it hemmed. So I'm 5'2" and I got it altered to be 5'4". And so our friend Jaggy at Sixpence, bless her, she's like, it got tried on a lot. It's just like really short for everybody else. And I was like, okay, fine. So I went and picked it up. I'm like, honestly, I'm happy to have this dress back. Like this dress I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do I just dye it black and wear it to this other really fancy wedding that we're going to next year?
Yeah, I would. I think that you should, because it was your rehearsal dress. I think that's fine. Dye it black. It's a completely new dress and it would look so good black. I think if you were close enough with the bride, I would ask, because I think too, like no one, again, if this is a same circle friend group, then no one saw your rehearsal except your immediate family and your bridal party.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's like, I had a photographer, so everyone knows that, but like you didn't have a photographer. You went and we did the rehearsal, we went to dinner, and that's it. That dress didn't live its destiny like it needs to.
I know.
Dye it black. But are you going to dye it black yourself?
Well, I was thinking of that. And then my mom's like, Adele, why do you have to dye it? Like, that's really hard. Like, that's like it's like, it's like a satin, like just
I think you probably could, but
she's like, where are you doing this? I'm like, in the backyard in a Rubbermaid. And she's like, just Maybe pay for somebody to dye it black. Okay. All right. Well, stay tuned if I do that. But then I'm going to be so upset that it's not white anymore. Because that was my white dress moment.
Oh, you're married.
Yeah, well, it's over, honey. Dye it black. It's
over for you.
Okay, so then my going down the Reddit rabbit hole brought me to objections.
Okay, yes. This is so good.
Yeah. So objections. So first off, have you ever been to a wedding with an objection?
No.
Have you ever been at a wedding that you're like, I wish somebody would object it, or I personally would like to object it, but I cannot because I can't pull this drama as much
let me think for a second through the...
I guess kind of on that same wavelength. Have you ever, this is so dark, but have you ever been to a wedding and been like, these people aren't making it?
Yeah. Well, because I was a wedding planner too, right?
Oh, true. So you've seen so many. Yeah.
There's one that comes to mind. No, I don't think I've been to a wedding.
Yeah. I think like I can't objectively think like that at a wedding because I'm so overcome by emotion no matter what. Like it could be people I've never met in my life. I'm like, this is the most beautiful thing in the world.
I think like too, like, again, I'm like a cusp friend. So when I get invited to a wedding, it's usually someone who's pretty close to me. Mm-hmm. I'm not salt of the earth like you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Not everyone can be salt of the earth
for all of us.
I'm salty.
Okay. So yeah, I've never done the I think like, okay, like I hope that it doesn't happen to any of my friends, but like I kind of want to hear a story about an objection. So if somebody like has a real life story about an objection, please let us know, and I want to talk to you. Okay, so we looked up some objections. So this guy, okay, so he says, I know a guy that was a videographer at a wedding where the groom was the one that objected.
Oh, spicy.
That's spicy. When the priest asked if anyone objected, the groom broke down crying and said that he could not go through with the wedding. Apparently, he had gotten a stripper pregnant and felt like he had to marry the stripper instead of the bride. Well, all in front of a priest. But you don't recover from that. Like, what do you do as the bride? Like, I think my first reaction would be like to giggle, thinking it's a joke.
I would just laugh. I would be like, I'd have like the nervous laughter. I'd be like, this is a fucking joke, right?
Yeah.
It's like when I just watched Friends.
Yeah.
The episode where Ross says Rachel.
Yeah. Just
what do you
forever.
do? What do you do? I don't know. It's 50-50. I might do what Emily did and just go through with it and then deal with it after and just annul it right after.
Yeah.
Play it cool, or I might just look for a while and then just walk away.
But if he's like, I'm objecting, like he's walking away and you're just like chilling up there.
I would probably make all my friends stay and
have a party.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just don't even know that I would register what's happening because I feel like during my wedding, especially the ceremony, I blacked out. Like I had no idea what I was saying. I had no idea what was being said to me. Like thankfully we have our vows on film. So shout out TMB for that gift. But I just feel like you black out that I'd be like, I do. And then I'd be like, what's happening here? Also, if that happened, my father would be so mad.
Yeah, I think that like some violence would immediately break out. Like I would be like, if I was the dude, I'd be really afraid to walk back down the aisle. I'd be like, is there a back door?
Is there a back door to the church?
Can I exit the other way instead of walking through my family and friends?
How does the priest recover from that? Like, because he's running the show.
I think that it's like, I think it's so shocking that they're probably just like, we're going to need a minute. We're going to have a little intermission, decide what we want to do here. Everyone just sits there in awkwardness.
I'm getting sweaty. I don't like this. Okay, so another one is here. So a bridesmaid and a groom had in capital letters, HAD, interacted for a bit on Tinder. So one of the bridesmaids and the grooms.
And the groom.
Yeah, so this must have been, they went on a couple of dates and realized that they didn't click.
Interacted. What a
yeah, they
word.
did. That was the extent of it. Bridesmaid was friends with the bride since high school. They met through the bridesmaid and they hit it off really well. So I guess this girl and this guy, the bridesmaid and the groom, went on some dates, didn't work, and then she introduced her.
Okay. Friend.
So they dated for 4 years, decided to get married. The mom of the bridesmaid got up and yelled, "Yeah, I object. You stole him from her," while pointing at the bride.
Oh
I've known the groom for a long time and by proxy the bride. I'm still very good friends with them. I've never seen her more infuriated than at that moment, obviously. The bridesmaid got up from her chair and was like, I'm so sorry. Let me get her out of here. The bridesmaid and the bride's stepfather escorted the woman out of the wedding, and it continued. It's really cringy of your mom to do that.
I don't even know what to say.
I just feel like, okay, and maybe that's just like a part of us being geriatric brides, but like at that point, like your friends have kind of like everybody gets a little tossed around the group.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like have you ever been to a wedding where you didn't know that like somebody had hooked up or somebody had gone on dates with somebody? Like, no.
If you weren't comfortable that I had slept with someone else and you were going to date them, then you shouldn't even dated them. Like, if it's going to be like, okay, I can't marry you because you slept with Jess, it'd be like, well, then why have we been dating for 4 years?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like obviously this is different because it's the mom being like,
you
stole her, and the bridesmaid is like, no, I'm good, guys. It didn't work out. But like, but I just feel like that's just par for the course. Like, what's the alternative that he's like lived under a rock for 32 years of his life until you met him?
I wouldn't want to date that man. The man who's like completely
green.
Yeah, no thanks.
All right. What else do we got here? I don't know that we have any more good ones.
Okay, I'm gonna. Well, if we don't
got one,
no, but I want to ask you, and you can put this at the beginning. What do you want the season 2 of the podcast to be? Now that I talked, you didn't really say.
Oh, other than T Swift and Trav?
Yeah. I want to know.
Season 2 of the podcast, I want it to get more deep. Like, I think like we scratched the surface with a couple topics. There's a few topics that we have lined up to talk about that are very important to us, important and controversial and really brand defining for us, that I really want to chat about. And I think that pushing the envelope is something that we've always done, and that's kind of like why we've become leaders in this industry. But this platform allows us to push the envelope in a way to connect with our brides that we have never been able to. And I think that that's really what I want to do. I want to ruffle some feathers for the good of this industry, because there's so much that this industry and this podcast can do to help people not feel like alone in their bridal journey, or that they have to do certain things, or that you know, and it's at the end of the day it's just two gal pals clucking away. And I think that I want that to be just balking. So I want that to be more prevalent.
I think there's a huge relatability factor in that. Like, I know we're best friends, so I know what you're talking about. But I think there's also a huge part of being more vulnerable. Like, when you talk about deep or depth in like what our topics are, being vulnerable is a really cool way to relate to our brides.
Exactly. Yep.
And sometimes we hint at it, but we don't always.
And any time that we have hinted at it, it's been so well received. And I think that you told me this a couple weeks ago when I was having some mentee be about putting something out for the Modern Bride or some marketing launch or something, and you were just like, it takes courage to like put out creative pieces.
Oh, big time. I think people underestimate how much, obviously I know people underestimate how much work it goes into a single Instagram post, but I think there's also a bravery in being like, I know this is gonna maybe upset people, or I know this is like not even like a hot take. It's more just like, I created this and not everyone's gonna love it. And that's a perfectionist millennial problem I think we have.
Yes.
But it's also like very liberating. Social media isn't the scariest thing we do in this industry, but it is the most publicly like reprimanded. I don't know, most public facing, just like it gets the most critiques than anything else that we do in this job.
Yeah. And I think any platform, like whether it be the podcast, Instagram, anything, like people always have very very strong opinions on it, especially on the internet.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think like that's just
No one's coming up to us on the street being like, yo, I hate your podcast, and be like, wow, well, I appreciate the feedback so genuinely. Yeah, you really don't have to listen to it.
Yeah, so I think the cheers to the vulnerability in 2024 season 2.
Depth and evolution.
Depth and T-Swift. Big 3 big heavy hitters. Okay, so marry or divorce, this is how we're ending it.
Yep,
This is how we started it. Let's just go for it. If you RSVP and don't show, you owe the cost of the plate as a gift.
Marry
that, 100%.
Yeah.
I had one.
Did you?
Yeah.
When we went to Britt and Sam's wedding, there's 2 at our table, and they were really surprised they didn't show up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. I was like, not that it was uncomfortable. We were at the back, but still, they were just like, oh, I'm really surprised they're not here. It's kind of gutty. It's kind of like, I felt sad, but I was just like, oh, they didn't even tell you?
Yeah. Mine was like a guy's wife, and he's like, oh yeah, like the babysitter bailed. And I was like,
that's a pretty loose argument.
Yeah. I was like, that's kind of weird.
At my cousin's wedding, a girl texted her that morning saying happy wedding day and never ended up showing up.
Pardon? All right.
Not even like if you text them, just say, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
Same day.
Yeah. Okay. I love this one. Marry or divorce. Guests don't want gifts with your name on it.
Oh, 1,000% they don't marry that idea.
Yeah. Well, there'll be none of that. Thank you. All right. That is a wrap. We love you all.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
See you at season 2.
Woohoo.
Bye.
What a wrap.